20th. Friday, November 20th. And so many amazing things are happening right now that I just really feel drawn to share a video to describe it. And, well, the title of this video is The Return to God and the End of the Separate Self. And if I stop the video right there, that would pretty much say it all. But I want to describe a little bit about what does this actually really feel like inside a being, inside our humanity as we go through this shift. It's interesting. Sandra Walter says that the entire first wave of humanity is passing through a phase called the resurrection phase until the end of December. And a part of this resurrection phase is to neutralize all coordinates, right? All geometrical coordinates that allow us to identify as a separate self have to be completely trashed. I mean, they have to be really composted so that this breath of God, so that these coordinates in the God code, Greg Braden talks about the God code. I love those words. But that these coordinates in the God code can actually build us from the ground up into a new structure that allows for us to be conduits for the solar logos, which is our direct link to source consciousness through the solar logos. And on the earth, there's been a huge hijack of the solar logos through the whole lunar imposter Saturn moon matrix, and the Antichrist agenda coming through the moon, which as we return to our organic living light blueprint, we must neutralize all reversals that came from the moon. And it's so interesting. If you saw the movie Epic was such an incredible, it was an animated film, very, very cool. The one thing in Epic that was not accurate is that the seed, that sacred seed that would bloom into the genesis of the whole, living light beauty of the forest, it doesn't bloom under the moon. It blooms under the sun. So it's interesting that they had so much truth in that movie, so much beauty and so much truth, but that one part was not accurate because it is the solar logos. It is the sun that Yeshua and Mary, the Magdalene codes of the Christ, are directly from the solar logos. So through Andromeda, as everyone I'm talking to is helping me understand and remember that Jesus was from Andromeda. And so the direct link up to the sun, bringing that Christ consciousness through Andromeda. And so, anyway, as we are brought back into the image of God, right? The image of the God code, the unity consciousness, as we're brought back into that, which is really what's happening in this resurrection phase, everything within us that identifies as a separate self, every impulse that would have us create and believe we are separate from God has to be neutralized in this great fire of surrender. And I was looking at, if you take the word self, S-E-L-F, and you reverse it, and I was thinking, flesh, well, what's that? And then I thought of the letters. It's like forever learning, endless surrender, right? Isn't that beautiful? The reversal of self is forever learning, endless surrender. And I don't think it's endless surrender. I mean, we do get to have some equanimity points where we're not going through massive ego death. And what I'm hearing is that through the end of December, we're in this incredible surrender because our coordinates are returning to unity consciousness. But once we're in the field of unity consciousness and our egos have been composted to the level that unity consciousness is satisfied with come January, then hopefully the divine impulse of the God Spirit will move through us and our lives will come as a direct outpressing of that divine Spirit. And perhaps it will be experienced as an endless surrender, but not a surrender that feels frustrating. More of a surrender that feels blissful and joyful and purposeful. Because when we are really, really aligned with God and the universe, we're aligned with the flow of good, not just for ourselves, but for all beings. So if you take the word God and you just put an O in it, I don't know what we could symbolize with that O, you get the word good. So, and as the Oversoul joins into our Godhood, we get the word good and the blossoming of good and the coming of benevolence and love and upliftment and freedom and joy for all beings. And with the Paris attacks last Saturday, we identified a point where the imposter grid stacks in France, which goes back to Jesus's life in France and trying to block the codes that he and Mary brought to France through these imposter timelines. So every time they do an attack, it's like they help us identify another place that truly needs mending. So our team at Energetic Synthesis, I believe, is going to start working on this grid work of these stacked up imposter Armageddon timelines in the field, which the Paris attacks were directly trying to strengthen those timelines because of the threat of the Christ returning to Earth. But, they can't stop it. This is the unfolding. This is the inevitable blossoming and the return of God consciousness and unity consciousness to the earth. So blessings, everybody. And just first wavers, hang in there till the end of December in this place of real surrender. Just know that everything that feels like it's being taken from you is actually gifting you by helping you return and helping you ever more surrender this belief that you are separate and this impulse to create in isolation from the mind of God. So we'll see what happens come January for all of our beloved first wavers, anchoring this platform for everyone who comes after, that they will not have to go through this type of massive restructuring. I mean, they'll go through definitely adjustments, but they'll never, not at the physical level, where will they have to transform this much density. At least that's what I'm hearing from Sandra. And I'll put a link to Sandra's resurrection video because it's the most beautiful thing I've found for this time to help me stay in this place of the no self. No achievements in the world, no working on anything that has anything to do with a self, for me at least. And I don't know if other people are experiencing it to that degree, but it's all a gift because we're unlocking the impulse towards separation consciousness that was implanted in the core of the earth by the negative aliens. So we're literally unlocking and neutralizing the genesis of the imposter grid on the earth. And that is an amazing, amazing thing to be a part of. So remember this as you feel like you're going through a river of endless loss, perhaps, and endless frustration of all forward, wanting to have something. The ego mind wants to have something to grab onto. It wants to have a project. It wants to have something it can identify itself with that's on the up and up. And right now, everything's on the down and down, so that separate self can be returned to the great stream of infinite love that is the unity. And then come January and February, March, come 2016, this in-breath of God begins inspiring our newly claimed vehicles to live lives in true service and clarity of the blossoming of unity onto this earth. So much love, everyone. Again, I do healings, multidimensional clearings, past life clearings, timeline rewrites through clearing the emotional body. If you feel called, please reach out and contact me. Let's see, sarahsparkle65@comcast.net. Just shoot me an email, and we will get to work. What an amazing time. Much love and many blessings into Thanksgiving and the beautiful vibration of gratitude. Such a beautiful platform for all that is love, all that is light, is gratitude for what is right now. So much love. Bye.
Universe, one verse, universe, one verse, universe, one verse, universe, one verse.